Good afternoon, everybody. How we doing? Very cool. Well, how are we doing today as in coaching? What can I do to help anybody? Anybody have any questions? Anything coming up for them? I've got a topic I'm going to talk about today, but I want to make sure I answer any questions you might have. How's business going? Business going well. Need more of it. Are you awake? Everybody raised their eyebrows on that one. So the good thing is rates are coming down, right? We're seeing they went up a little bit last week. Let's look at them. I don't see Kenny on here to quote them for me. So again, I go to an app that's called Mortgage News Daily. Looks like that. And the rates are 6.88. So they've kind of been moving around a little bit, right? But they're below 7% nationally. 30-year FHA's down to 6.17. Jumbo is about 7.25. So somewhere in that mid to tall sixes, 6.75, 6.85, probably what you're going to see in your markets. Anybody correct me on that? Anything significantly different? Okay. So talking points for buyers is the rates are coming down, and it's pretty significant when they come down from 7.8 and 9 now below 7. That helps the buyers a lot mentality wise. They were okay with it being at 7 for a while, is my experience. They got used to that. They're going to get used to 6 again very, very quickly, or whatever the number is, right?
Excuse me, I'm so sorry. There's no hand raising thing on here.
Oh, are you on
I'm
your cell
sorry.
phone?
No, I'm not. But
Okay. Yeah,
something
no
has changed
worries.
since I did the update.
No worries.
What was the website again that you said?
Mortgage News Daily. It's an app. It's has that logo at the top, Mortgage News Daily. And it's a
Okay.
great spot. Thank you. Somebody put it in there, Patrick. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And that's a great place just to look at it. I look at it once a week on Mondays and just kind of keep my finger on the pulse. And it dropped like 0.5% about a month and a half ago. It dropped from 7.89 to like 7.2 overnight. And then we got below 7, and now it's running right around 6.8. Right. But as we progress through this year, I think we'll see below 6%. I think we'll see that probably by the height of the summer season, which will be a big deal. We expect that to create a lot of interest in the market for buyers and sellers, because we got both people kind of in the stalemate. We're still buying and selling homes. That's the reality, right? We're still buying and we're still selling. So that's the key, is somebody still needs to buy or sell. But what I want to show you today is how to become the industry expert in your market. How do you set yourself apart as the information officer, maybe, right? The expert in your area, meaning that the people on your social media, the people in your circles, there's value in what you're saying. And to me, it's all in front of you in your MLS. It's already there and it's already available to you, right? So I'm going to log into my MLS and just show you some. Now I'm looking at mine. So the RMLS is going to be different than the Sacramento MLS. And, there's 800 MLSs in the nation, right? 800. So if you don't know how to do this, just reach out to your local MLS and say, I'm looking for the marketing reports. I'm looking for the metrics of how many sales, how many listings. Most MLSs have it like on the front page, like in a hot sheet format. And I'll show you mine. But I'm going to take you through how I would have you go out and send this maybe weekly, monthly communication out of what's going on in the market. And the more you do it, the more it will make sense for people as they're following with you when they start tracking with you, especially if you make it to the point and it's not long-winded and it's not a 20-minute thing. We're literally talking like in a 3 to 5 minute window talking about what's going on in the market. So I'm going to pull up mine. I'm in the Willamette Multiple Listing Service as well as the RMLS up in Oregon. So I'm going to log in. I'm going to show you what I see on my screen. And again, I'm not going to show any private information because this is recorded and we put this up onto our sites and things, but I'm just looking at the MLS from the back side, but I'm not going to go into any details of MLS listings, and I want to be good about that component of it. Right. So as I share my screen though, you're going to see immediately that you've got this little market monitor to the right. It's in bright red. It's made to look at, right? And so what we've got here, let me look at chats. I think it's just the AI stuff. Yeah. So as we look at it in the last one day, right? And I can refresh it, but I just don't load it. In the last day, we've got 10 new listings. So I can click on those. This is practice to do every day as well. When you're focused into the MLS, when I was in the height of my career, the MLS was the very first thing I opened every single morning. Look at the MLS, look at the hot sheet, so you're really stay in tune with this. And it got to the point where I could tell you how many homes were in each price range just because I looked at it so much. That's ultimately what the buyer's looking for. But in this particular case, we got 10 homes new on the market. You could put it by city, so you could see there's only a couple in Albany, one in Corvallis, so they're kind of spread out. You could put it in price range. So you could say, okay, we got something at 182 all the way up to 599. That's what came on today. The other piece is you can go back to this and you could put in, like, I want to see what happened in the last 7 days and hit refresh. And if you're not muted, just mute yourself and then take yourself off mute or raise your hand if you have that feature. So like in the last 7 days, I could see we have 232, right? So it was only 10 in the last day, 232 in the last 7 days. 20 expired. That is up 10 times, right? We had really no expireds in the market last year. And if they were expiring, they were dogs, right? If you couldn't sell it a year ago in that market, there was something going on. We're seeing this increase now. So again, I can open this up and look at what's expiring on the market. I could look this in a perspective of the city it's in. There's only one expired in Albany, and there's a couple in Salem, but it's a bigger city. You got 6 or 7 expireds in Salem. I can see if they're on land or not. I can go off of price, so I can look at what the prices were. So starting all the way down here, these are leases, obviously in the 3,000, 6,000, 7,000, 13,000. And then we get into probably some manufactured at 85. I can see what's kind of expiring. There's a luxury for 3.1 that expired. So whether you're looking to call expireds, it's still good to know what's going on in the market. So again, as we go to this, I could be talking to people. Let's go back to 7 days. And then you can say, yeah, we've had 20 expireds in the last week. So the market is, kind of rejecting things if they're not priced correctly. But the big indicators, we've had 138 price improvements in the last week, right? And we've got 128 properties sold. So in the last week, we sold 128 and we price reduced or price changed 138. And then there's currently 319 pending. That could be, it might take 45 days, 60 days. So that number is always going to be a little bigger than what we're closing monthly, but it's a good indicator. And then if I wanted to go and look at this in the format of a 30-day window, I could do that. So we sold 455 properties in the last 30 days, and there's only 319 pending. So that number starts making more sense. But 652 properties came on the market in the last 30 days in my MLS market. And out of those, 229 expireds. That is shocking. Matter of fact, it's the first time I'm seeing that's a big number. In the last 30 days, 229 homes expired. You have what that tells me is you naturally have an end of the year thing. A lot of people date them to the end of the year, 12/31. So that might be a little bit of an exception. But look at how many price changes, 456 in the last 30 days, and only 455 sold homes, and 229 expireds. So we sold 455 and 229 expired. Massive opportunity in my world, right? Like if you wanted now business, that's now business. You can call and find out what the pains were, what the challenges were, what happened. And so now what I'm hoping you'll do is you'll understand the power of just doing a recording like this with your Zoom and your MLS and just having this conversational like this with people. Like say I'm sending it out to my buyers. This is how it would look like start to finish. Okay. And matter of fact, I'm going to stop the recording and start the recording again. Hey guys, I'm going to be showing you how to do a video on the current MLS, and I'm going to start it from like a conversation I might have if I was recording myself. Hey, it's Randy Byrd with eXp Realty here in Corvallis, Oregon, Oregon Luxury Group. I just wanted to do a quick market update, like 3, 4, 5 minutes. I wanted to give you a market update of what's going on in the Willamette Valley MLS. And this is going to impact you if you're a buyer. It's going to impact you if you're a seller. We're going to talk about all things in the market right now and kind of what's going on in the world of real estate. So with no further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and show you guys this. Okay. So you should be able to see my screen now. And I'm looking at how many, I'm looking at the market in a snapshot. It's called our market monitor. So in the last day, we've had 10 listings come on the market, 1 expired, 14 price changes, 20 solds in the last day, and about 319 pending, which is we're seeing about an average in our MLS. But what I want to show you that might be powerful is let's look at a 30-day trend. And then I'm going to walk you through some of the other trends in the region. But this is just a market monitor. So in the last 30 days, we've had 652 new listings come on the market in just the Willamette Valley MLS. And we had 229 expired. I mean, that's over, what is that, 40 something percent of all the listings expired that came on in the new status in the last 30 days. If you even look further, you look at the solds in the last 30 days, 455 solds, 229 expireds. That's half of all the sold properties in the last 30 days. There were half expired. That's a really big number. That's a trend going on in the real estate market that things are sitting longer. We're still in this kind of mixed up market. It's not truly a buyer's market, not truly a seller. It's in this kind of no man's land right now. Matter of fact, it's worse because it's not really leaning one direction or another. It's actually in this flux. Like the sellers are holding on, they can't quite sell. The buyers are holding on, they don't quite like the rates unless they really have to move. We're seeing a lot of that. So this is stuff that's important to us. The other thing I want to show you is one of our resources we have here is we could pull up the market and show you what's going on across the region. So if we look at the weekly trends, for instance, if we look at the weekly trends and you go in here, you can see that our median sales price is up a little bit. You see where it's bouncing around, but the same time period last year, we're up 6.6%. We're actually up 6.5% from last week. And so we're looking roughly about 417 is the average price, right? So that's one of the metrics we could look at. What I like looking at is this market review. And we could do this by city, by county, by all kinds of things. I'm just going to select all my area codes selected. So I've got 66 areas here. And then I got counties. I got all 4 counties selected. So my whole MLS, which is 4 counties in the Willamette Valley of Oregon. But if we look at this, we could look over a 13-month span, and it's populating still. But you can see it's going to put in December 22, but you're going to see now we've got December of 2023 right now. We're running about 420 average sales price. And again, 277 closed transactions in the last month. And you're seeing some of these trends, right? Closed sales are down about 11%. Days on the market is up about 13%. That's pretty customary to what we're seeing in our particular market. List price, we're still getting 99.2% of list price. So that tells me that most agents and most homeowners are realistic in their price setting, and that we're almost 99% of those are selling at or above ask price. Price per square foot's come down a little bit. That goes with sales price, comes down just a whisker. Being a past general contractor, I'm always looking at average square footage costs. And then we've got new listings, 291, which is 15% down from last year. And then active inventory, we're at 861, which is down 14% from last year. And then months of inventory, 3.1, which again, we've talked about this 3.1. It's right in the no man's land. It's really 4 months or lower is a buyer's market. and 6 months or more, I'm sorry, 4 months or lower is a seller's market. So the lower the number, the bigger the seller's market. And 6 months or more of inventory is a buyer's market. And that means that obviously if there's only 1 month of inventory, we saw 0.03 months of inventory. So we had literally a week of inventory back about a year and a half ago. Now we're about 3.5 months. And by the way, that's about a healthy market. I think 3-4% is a healthy number of months of inventory. That's kind of right in that middle land. It's not a screaming seller's market. It's not an aggressive buyer's market, kind of right in the middle. So these are some areas. Obviously, if you have any questions, I can pull up specifically. I can pull up, just one particular area. Like for instance, I can go to Albany and I can fine tune it for you that way. So very quickly, we can come up with the average sales prices there. We could also have some things like what's happening year to date. And all these things are all good things. You can't look at year to date because we're only 29 days into the year. So some of these numbers are really out of whack as opposed to 2022. But there are some indicators that like sales are up 50% according to this particular report. But that's why we really want to dig in and look at a larger report for you. So if you have any questions, reach out to me. I'm Randy Byrd, happy to walk you through this education journey of what's going on in the real estate market, right? So number one, how much did I prepare for that? As fast as I can open my MLS with you guys, right? I've done it a couple times, so I'm proficient, but this is an area that you can have a lot of value. And when you're thinking of like, what content am I going to put out there? What am I going to do? What am I going to say? Just do that. The other thing you can do is, for instance, like on my website, I always like to train on my website because you're adding eyeballs to it, right? So on my website, for instance, I could do something like this. I go, let me share my screen and I'll show you my website and we'll look at some numbers. So I'm talking on purpose while my thing's running, right? So we'll look at some properties on here and I'll give you an idea like what's come on the market. And if you ever want, you could always go to my site. And what's really cool is I have this luxury listing tab that will pull up every luxury listing in all of Oregon immediately. So there's 10,000 properties in the MLS plus. There's actually like over 20,000. But like we're gonna put 5 million or above, like luxury, right? There's only 43 properties above $5 million in all of Oregon. So we are the Oregon luxury specialists. We like to know about every single one of these properties and we can help you with every one of these properties. Some of the other things that we can do here is we can go to the home and we can start searching in the MLS and see what's going on specifically, right? So one of the cool things that we have is we have new featured listings. This is all the new listings that happened in the last 72 hours. This is really a cool feature because you could come on every day or two and you're going to see only the brand new properties on the market, right? So these are the ones that came on in the last 72 hours. And some of these are duplicates. You can see they listed them. People do these and they list it like as an investment property and then as a real estate single family, and it shows up in the MLS a couple of times just so you know why you see that. And then you can scroll down here. Here's what recently sold, which is really cool to watch, right? So this one just recently sold, and these are all within the last day or two. This one sold, closed this weekend, 5.1% of sales price. This one, 4% of sales price. This one, sales price, sold for the exact price. And so you could look at all these recently solds very easily to kind of keep your finger on the pulse of the market. We like that a lot. This is really cool. So you'll see we have 38 sold properties that happened. I think it's in the last 72 hours. So you could take a look at all this and see what's going on and look for yourself. It's what's happening. There's only one house that went above asking price, this one right here so far. Everything else has been off by 3%, 4%, 5%, 11%, all over the place. 5%, 0.02%, almost list price, 0.5%. But again, as your real estate professional, we're going to have our finger on the pulse of the market. And these are the kind of things we can do. But if you want to visit my site, I think this is a great thing for you to look at what's sold. And then again, you could look at luxury listings. And then you could obviously see what's new in the last 72 hours. All these things are very valuable to you. And then obviously we've got a tool like Sell Your Home. We could do a very quick valuation on your property in literally in minutes, right? So you just put your address in, it'll find the address. I'll use one of my neighbors, for instance. Let's go. Christopher Avenue Southeast. There we go. So this is one of my neighbor's homes that just sold. So it's going to ask me to register, but it's going to give me that report right away when I log in and register. And it's a full detailed CMA that's really pretty accurate for something like this happening, just in a quick putting your address in. All right. So I wanted you just to get a flavor for what you could do. All right. We've talked about how you get more social out there, how you get more video out there. A lot of you want to do more video, but you're stuck in how do I do? What do I do? When do I do? This is one of those really easy things. Get a background for your Zoom. You can change your Zoom background very easy. You don't need a green screen. That's my real wall you see here. But if I want to go to a virtual, even with all that color and everything else, I can go like that. Right? I can do that for my radio show. I could do that for my real estate boot camp I'm doing. So you could do a virtual background. The computers are very good, unless you have some weird colors and stuff that keep showing up. You could do a virtual background very simply. Kenny's got one of Galt. I love that because it speaks to where he's at. What's the area, right? And you changed it. So you got a moon and stuff in it now. I remember it was different.
Hey, Randy.
Yes, sir.
You can do this on Instagram as well pretty easily. If you just screenshot the stats page that you want to talk about, and they have a green screen, just a filter that you can use, you can make yourself smaller, and it's just like a little talking head, and you just point at the stats and talk about it, and shoot out something 30 seconds or a minute.
100%.
Super easy to do.
Yeah, and see, that's just the benefit of these calls is you get that little bit of nugget right there. Instagram, TikTok's kind of similar. Facebook's a little different. LinkedIn's a little different, but get them on all of those. Better yet, set up some kind of automation where you can do these things very quickly and have them auto-populate. We do everything in Zoom or in StreamYard. I'll do a video once in a while, but usually we do them and we just literally upload them into a program like Opus Pro, have them cut 5 or 6 clips, put them out there. They take the clips and do all this AI. It's really cool. But the big thing is getting yourself out there as a neighborhood expert. And if you really want to be really fine tune this, pick an area and go deep. Instead of going all of Sacramento, we have this going on. It's way better to go, hey, we're going to focus on one little geographical area being Granite Bay. Granite Bay has this many homes in it. Granite Bay has this many cells in it. Granite Bay has this much in it. By the way, we have a Facebook page that talks about the school districts, the population, the crime stats, all that stuff's there. But today we're going to be honing in on specifically Granite Bay. And then, by the way, do you know you can run a Facebook ad and circle a line around Granite Bay, and every time somebody drives through there in their car, you can ping their Facebook and show them that particular ad. It's called geofencing. And so, like, there's a Chevy, we just bought a new Chevy truck, and there's a Dodge dealership in town that I visited, and I gave them my contact information. So they put me into their Facebook ads. All I did was drive by the front of Dodge 2 weeks ago, and my phone goes ding. Dodge has specials going on right now. So I look at it, I'm driving by it as we speak. So I know they geofenced me. And then he texted me, hey, Randy, just checking back in. Do you have any questions? Do you have anything, on helping you on your Dodge truck journey? And I go, hey, we bought a Chevy, but thank you. And I go, you geofenced me. That's pretty cool. And he goes, yeah, you know that basically, but it was very effective because immediately I was just driving by. If I was still in the market for a truck, you see the power of that. What about you? Even if they live in that area, every time they come on Facebook within that geofence, it's going to pop up. You could set that up as an ad. You could set up organically. You could do a lot of different things. But you see the power in this free instrument. because everything we just talked about is just a learning curve. There's very little in there that is costly. You might need a Zoom account, right? There's a free Zoom account, but you might need the paid one for some of these features. You might need to run a little bit Facebook ad after it, but try it organically first. And then, by the way, when you're purposeful about making this stuff, then you could send it to your database on purpose and say, hey, Melissa, I thought you might enjoy this. I just did this thing this week where I'm talking about the real estate market and I'm talking about specifically Granite Bay. I thought it might be valuable to you. And then you send it to everybody in your database. Right? And then you could do little things on social media like, hey, I'm going to run a campaign in Granite Bay, and I'm making stuff up, but let's just say we're doing a coat drive in the winter, or we're doing something for the community, or we're going to have the chief of police on our show. Would they be interested in knowing about it? You can engage with people like with those kind of questions to ask them. And it's just engaging in social media. And then again, through that, you can invite them to a group that's specific to Granite Bay, specific to school kids, soccer, all those things. Really, really powerful when you start looking at it like this. And at the end of the day, that is social networking. At the end of the day, that is exactly, even though it's online, it could lead to the belly conversations and business. All right. So got a couple minutes left. What questions, what takeaways do you have from that today? And more importantly, are you willing to commit to it?
I've been
Okay,
doing
so
something.
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
No, it's all right. Go ahead.
Ladies first. It's okay.
I've done that on Facebook where I set up an area for Contra Costa County in Martinez and Concord and Brentwood, etc.
Yep.
So I focused in on one area, and what I do is
Those are 4 areas.
yeah, but there's more.
Yeah, there's a lot of
couple
areas.
more.
That was kind of my point.
Yeah.
Are you doing it specifically to one particular area at a time?
No,
Okay.
because it's kind of considered like East Contra Costa.
Yep, I'm familiar with the area. I'm from there.
Yeah.
But I would say you can have 5 specific niches, but I think it's
Okay.
really powerful to find, because you want to have the website that's like living in Dublin, living in San Jose, you don't want to say living in Southern California or Northern California. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So drilling down deep is valuable for you.
Okay, so my question, I guess, was if I focus just like on Brentwood, isn't that too small of an area to focus on?
No, you know how many, what's the population of Brentwood?
I'm not sure.
Brentwood population, I'm going to tell you in 1 minute. And there's 2 Brentwoods, Southern and Northern, but Brentwood is 64,000 people.
Okay.
Right? So wouldn't you love to be the social digital mayor of
Yeah.
Brentwood?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that really is the secret, because when we say Contra Costa, that's a big area, and all of a sudden you're a number in there. You really want to become the digital expert in that area, and then really focus into the restaurants and the police chief and the school districts and all things Brentwood. And then it's expandable, by the way.
Okay, yeah. And that's kind of like what I've been doing, and especially like with vendors who are advertising on the various city and town websites that I've
Right.
joined. I've been posting their services and connecting with them and putting them down
Gotcha.
like as possible leads or resources people to talk to, as well as providing like school information, event information and things like that. But again, yeah, I should probably just focus on one city or town rather than 4.
Yeah, if you're having wins, stay with it if things are working. But if you feel like you're not sure what's working and you feel like you're doing a lot without a big result, wean it way back down and be very, very specific.
Okay. All right.
So
Thank you.
So which Brentwood did I pull up? I have 64,000 Contra Costi, 66,870.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, because somebody else, I think Kenny put in, single family. I got you. Gotcha. He's just helping me.
Okay.
Okay, so that's really your next step, folks. Number one, if I had to be in order, I would say number one, talk about the MLS statistics every day. That's a very easy one to do. And you could do that every month, every week. You could do whatever you want. Ricky Kruth does everything every week. And there's a lot of value in that continuity. Okay. Awesome. I appreciate you guys. Have a great day.